Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. This is A Life Well Spent. My name is Kelly and I am documenting my financial journey. Right now I'm working on paying off my debt, and what that looks like is a little unorthodox, I think. The last bit of debt I have is student loan debt, and I'm trying to kind of see what happens with the Biden administration and student loan cancellation or anything like that. So what I'm currently doing, I'm making my monthly payment, and then on the side I'm piling up cash so that if that never comes to fruition, or at least doesn't in any kind of foreseeable future, then I will just be able to have a lump sum of money that I can go pay it off with. If I only get some of that forgiven or canceled or whatever they're planning on doing, then I will hopefully have enough in my pile of money to pay the rest off. And then I'll do something else with whatever's left over at that point. So that's the game plan right now. So I operate on a zero-based budget, and on my channel I do share my real budget with my real numbers. And yeah, that can be really intimidating sometimes, actually, and really scary to be that kind of open, but is what it is. So so I will close out my budget at the end of the month. I'll show you what my budget's going to be at the beginning of the month. Well, usually kind of a couple days before the month starts. And then I do a video like today's video, which is a sort of weekly recap of my spending and where I'm tracking my transactions, because I found that it's been really difficult keeping track of some things that are just kind of like bigger budget categories, like my personal spending or restaurant spending. Because I feel like, I used to do it with cash. I don't do it with cash anymore because of the pandemic. I was buying so many things online that it was so much more difficult to keep track of my spending. That's not that complicated when you are dealing with cash, because if you start the month with $100 and you have $25 left, like that's all you have to spend. But it's more difficult to keep track of that when you're dealing with like digital purchases all the time. So I started doing this kind of weekly check-in to track my spending so I know kind of where I'm at. And so without further ado, that's what we'll get into for this video. I'm gonna shrink this a little bit. So, okay, here's my budget template. I'm still actually kind of working out a lot of the kinks for it, but we are actually, it's May 12th. And I've been really busy trying to get my garden and my yard like all squared away, because it really desperately needed it. I really put it on the back burner to do some other things to finish up my internship and my administrative program and all that kind of stuff. So that needed done. So and last week it was like rainy most of the day, so there weren't a lot of days that I could actually do it last week. So this week it's been somewhat nice, and I've been like busting my hump to get everything taken care of. And I have the poison ivy to prove it. Isn't this awful? It's not just on my hands. I think I've had to replace my gloves. That's one of the purchases I made this week, because it seems that gloves did nothing. Poison ivy oil is all over my gloves, and like y'all, it's like all my legs are all it's all over everywhere. I'm not happy about it, and I'm like itching constantly. So if you see me kind of reach down, I'm probably scratching something that's just awful. So, okay, so what I do in my first week of the month, let me back up. So at the end of the month, when I close out my budget, I zero out my checking account, and for me, my zero is a month's. I put $3,000 in. That's like a month's pay for me, with like, I mean, I've rounded up a little bit. Yes, that's the Doctor Who theme. Or at least one of the originals for 9 or 10, I guess. Um, Originals of the new one, I should say. That's my alarm. So I'm doing this before work, so that's kind of like my cue to start getting ready, and I'm already ready, so I don't have to worry about it, but that keeps me going, and I know like what things need to get done by when. I have to do that because I don't know about y'all, but the more, like, the earlier I get up and the more time I have till I have to go do something, the more I think, oh, I have time to do that, and I have time to do that, and yeah, you know what, I can throw a little clothes in. And before I know it, I'm late. So that alarm system helps me not be late. I know exactly what I need to do every time that goes off. So realistically, I just hit snooze twice. By the time it goes off another, like that's that third time, I need to be like gathering up my stuff and getting out the door. So I got time to film this. We're gonna try to power through this. So my first week of the month, almost every single one of my bills comes out. And that's why I zero out at a month's pay, because I don't want to have to sit here and be like, well, wait, I need to pay the mortgage on the 7th this month because I get paid on the 6th and this and that. And like, to me, that just, I don't want to do that. Yeah, it's your money, it's your budget. You can do it however you like. But for me, that drives me nuts. I don't ever, like, I want as much of this to sort of be like auto as possible. And I want as much coming out at the very beginning of the month as possible. So that way, like, it's over with, it's paid, it's done. So I leave a month's income in there. And then essentially, like, those first bills come out. And if I get paid in the first week, let's say I get paid on the 7th, all of them, they've all come out like probably by the 6th. And then my check just replaces that money in my checking account. And that's kind of how I leave it. So, and I've only recently been able to do this. Like it took me getting control of how much money I'm spending to be able to do this comfortably, because otherwise I'm like, oh my God, I have to transfer money back into my checking, or from my checking back into my checking from my savings. And like, there's only so many transactions you can do in a month. Like, that's a law, like a federal law. And it's there to protect people. I realize that, but also it seems stupid, but there's a reason for it. And the reason is usually people were terrible and the government was like, wait, we should probably stop that. So anyway, so everything is coming out. So my mortgage, $676.03. My sewer bill, that's a flat rate of $58. My internet is $125. It's actually bundled with internet and TV. And I personally could not care less about TV. But my parents got rid of their internet because their TV, because their TV was obnoxiously expensive. They were paying like $2 something a month. And my mother was like, you know what? Like, your dad only watches a few shows. I could get by without watching just about anything. Like, I don't really care enough. And I'm in that same boat. Like, there's some shows that I was like, I really like and I don't mind. And if they're on, I'll watch them. But like, if I don't have TV, like, I'm just fine. And I did not have TV actually for the longest time. I had it as a bundle just to get my internet cheaper. And so, but honestly, like, I would go back to just internet at this point, because that's way higher than, kind of did that thing where you got like deals to keep going and, you keep upgrading, whatever. So, but at this point, like, my parents got rid of theirs. And so I'm the one holding the TV now. And that's fine. They give me money towards it. Like, I'm not really worried about it. The only thing that really anybody is concerned about is the Big Ten Network. And by anyone, I mean my dad. He likes to watch Penn State football and Penn State wrestling. And it's pretty much the reason we hang on to this. Most of the things he likes to watch, like, he can watch probably for free on like Amazon Prime or something like that, because my mother has an Amazon Prime account. So can probably cover most of like what he'd care to watch. Or just like buy seasons of the thing, like if he wants to watch the Andy Griffith Show, you could probably buy like the complete series for like $60, and that's way cheaper than a monthly TV bill. But right now it's pretty much all for the Big Ten Network. Sweet. Okay, so my water bill, $18.97. That is the flat rate at like the bare minimum. I don't usually go over it unless I'm in the summertime and I'm having, well, if I have like a leaky something, I'll go over, but I've had that in the past. But otherwise, like, just a couple of months when I am having to like water a lot because we're not getting a lot of rain in my garden. That's it. So, but that's mostly what it is. Let's see, my electric bill is $37.24, my natural gas $68.82. That was obnoxiously high for April. It's just been really super cold. Truly, like, halfway through April, I actually shut my heat off and I don't bother. And I do that. I wait until like I drop the thermostat down to like 65, and then if it goes below 65, the heat kicks on. We have had so many nights in the 30s that it has kicked on a lot. In fact, it just kicked on last night, and it's May 12th and I'm annoyed. But I will probably, hopefully, like in a week or so, be able to actually shut that off until the fall. Hallelujah. And then we'll get back down to like $20 a month. Okay. Let me see. I ordered something from Amazon. I ordered myself a drip irrigation kit. I planted strawberries and I am testing out some drip irrigation. So I want to see what that looks like. And I needed to buy like a kit that had everything proper that like was inside of it before I decide to like expand and start putting my own things together. I'm okay with it. Let's see. Ooh, bought some perennials at Lowe's that I'm going to be planting in my garden. Well, actually, I just planted them this week because again, it's been, sorry, see, here I am. I'm like itching my poison ivy. And got some soil. Not enough soil. I need to go get more because I'm a fool and I did not buy enough. Let me see. We got groceries at Wegmans for $37.29. Then I went to Sam's Club and I got a couple of different things that I needed, but they kind of fell under different categories. And I thought about just pulling this under miscellaneous and being done with it, but I was like, you know what? No, I'm going to break this down. I don't normally necessarily do this, but bought some groceries. Some were mine, some were my mother's. Got myself a shirt that I actually really liked. And I got some weed and feed for my yard. So it's a kind of thing that like puts like food in for the grass, but also like has some stuff to take the weeds out and whatnot. And I need that big time because we just recently got a new sewer line put in a couple of years ago, and they did it like in November. So the grass was like a hot mess the following spring. And then we had to have them come out at least one more time to go put more soil in because it was bad. They didn't put enough. So they had to come back and like to like kind of even out all the levels and everything. So like, and then they like reseeded, but it was a ridiculously dry summer and it just didn't get well watered. And so now like I need to plant more grass. I need to get rid of a lot of weeds, and it's just annoyed. So that's what that is. So these are my 2 donations to Fair Fight and Planned Parenthood. My mother's money dropped into my account, paid my life insurance, paid my student loan bill. I got a Mother's Day gift because I forgot to budget for one, like a moron. But got that off of Amazon. I bought a book that went on sale, and I got a cover for my new MacBook to keep that looking, nice and protected. And my cell phone bill came out to $43.39. I paid my iCloud storage, which was $2.99. Went to CVS to get some Ivy Dry for the Ivy. That is money well spent, and I will spend that every time. I thought I actually had some. I'm almost positive I have some somewhere. I just don't know where it got to. And I could not wait to just find it. So, and then I got paid. Hallelujah. That covers my first week. I did start tracking some of the next expenditures that I had because I wanted to have them down here, but I didn't want them like calculating in these totals over here. So I'm still doing okay. I've got 152 left in groceries, $100 left in gas, although I did just buy gas, and gas is coming up. Told you it was going to go off again. All right. Still have all my restaurant money. I actually shouldn't. I went to Wendy's Friday or Saturday, and there's something really weird. Like I don't even know what happened, but the manager was at the door and he was like, yeah, this was yours. I zeroed it out. I think I accidentally rang you up for the guy in front of you, and it was like, I don't know, $3 less, so I really didn't care. But he's like, I promise I've only run it once and it's this. But I still, like, I never saw a pending charge, and it has not cleared yet, and it's been like 4 to 5 days. So I'm not sure that I got charged for that at all. Poor guy was having a rough day. They couldn't do change, so they had no change. They were only able to do like cash with exact change or credit. And I was like, my God, if your credit machine's all messed up. Oh boy, poor man, hot mess. $208.16 left on my house and garden, and that's going to be annihilated pretty soon. Personal, I still have $204.11. I did actually go out and buy a shirt on the weekend, so that's going to be a little bit less. And I still have $100 in my miscellaneous. I paid my student loan bill. I moved all of my sinking funds. They about on the 4th is when they come out. So, yeah, they all get moved over there, and then I spend accordingly. I took the Mother's Day gift out of my cushion because I stupidly forgot about it. And my admin cert, I don't need this, and I think I said last month I was going to move it somewhere, so I actually moved that here. I moved it into my cushion to give me some more there. And then I don't know if I'm just going to get rid of that line item, or if there I go, itching again, or what I'm really going to do there. I did need to actually adjust my budget because I expected more on my cell phone because I didn't think it through properly. But there are my expenses for the week, and that's it. I will see you next time. Bye, guys.